Shalom, Israel. I would like to start out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth and who rule well. And a sincere salutations to the house of David, you Akim pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth in all truth, in all faith, and in all sincereness. Risking and putting your lives on the line daily for the names Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. It's Zakar'Yah coming at you with another lesson. And Lord's willing, and be edifying. So this is from the Huff Post. Uh, it reads, unvaccinated hospital workers given the boot after refusing the vaccine. And I did a video going into how they have passed unrighteous decrees allowing employers to fire employees who will not take the jab, okay? And I did this video, I want to say about 3 months ago, and I'm going to play a clip it real quick, and then we're going to jump into this article because, in these, in this day and time, man, being so close to the end, we have to, stay sober and be vigilant, okay? Don't have short-term memory, okay? Like 2/3 of our nation and the rest of these zombies in this world, okay? They're the walking dead, all right? So we have to remember and stay focused on the things that are happening around us. So let's get this clip real quick, okay? I did this video, let me see, 3 months ago. So I'm just going to play a little snippet from it, and then we're going to get into the article.
Turn to some sense of normalcy, but what does that mean for people heading back to the workplace? Can your employer require you to get the vaccine? This morning, attorney Alex Ozel is joining us to talk all about this. Alex, first off, welcome and good morning to you.
Thanks so much. Good morning to you as well.
This is something obviously that you're an expert on. You talk about this all the time, and this is going to be new to a lot of folks. We know that this year, a significant amount of people, about 40-something% in November, said they would not take the vaccine. So employers might have to consider some options here. What can an employer do if their employee does not want to get vaccinated?
Yeah, so they can fire them. There's a government agency, it's a federal government agency called the EEOC, and it was basically made to help employees. And so they put out guidelines to say what's going to be allowed and what's not. And in this situation, the guidelines came out on December 16th. And the guidelines say that if an individual refuses to get the vaccine, then they cannot come into work. And in a lot of situations, that equals a firing. When you think about, for example, if someone's a server or if someone's in construction, they can't really do that remotely. So in this situation, there's two exceptions, but in that situation, they can essentially fire them, which is crazy. This is huge because this is going to affect a ton of people.
More than a month and a half into the nation's vaccine.
All right, so I just wanted to play that little snippet. Okay, so I did this video, take the jab or lose your job, 3 months ago. All right, and in that time, you see the world is being slowly rocked back to sleep. Okay, these people in the world have short-term memory, man. They forget. Let alone forgetting things 3 months ago, they forget things 2 weeks ago, man. Okay? These people in this world are the walking dead, man. They are in complete darkness. Okay? So let's get into this article, okay? So once again, it's from the Huff Post. It says unvaccinated hospital workers given the boot after refusing vaccine. All right? And this was published June 8th. All right, so it reads, workers at Houston Methodist Hospital who refused to get the COVID-19 vaccine were placed on a 2-week unpaid suspension on Tuesday and face termination. Hospital workers in Texas who refused to get a COVID-19 vaccine as part of company policy are now facing termination after a deadline came and went this week, prompting some workers to gather and protest. Dozens of people carrying signs and waving American flags gathered outside of the Houston Methodist Hospital on Monday, some in support of the workers and others joining after their final hospital shift. I cried the whole way out, Nurse Jennifer Bridges, one of the 117 healthcare workers who recently filed a lawsuit against the hospital over its vaccine requirements, told local station KHOU. Zakar'Yah. And you know, these women have filed a lawsuit against the hospital, but if they were paying attention to what's going on in the world, they would know that they're wasting money on these lawyers. Okay? Because Esau Edom has already set up legislation in place to avoid any of that, to avoid any of you people even considering or trying to sue. Okay? So, all right, I guess this was one of the tweets that were in, I guess they were in support of, the nurses. It says several dozen, off Twitter, several dozen waiting for Baton Methodist employees to walk out after they refused to get the vaccine shot per company policy. Jennifer Bridges, a registered nurse here, was the first to speak out. Now a little more than 200 employees are suing the hospital. It says the medical center's 2,600 employees had been given until Monday to get the vaccine. Those who failed to do so would be suspended for 2 weeks without pay. Starting on Tuesday, those workers now have until June 21st to get vaccinated, or they will be terminated, the hospital told its staff in a policy statement back in April. All right. So all these people, man, are feeling real comfortable here in Babylon the Great, okay, America. People are feeling comfortable. The news is talking about how many people have taken the jab, and things are slowly starting to open back up, and people feel a sense of normalcy coming back to them. Okay, the freedoms that they had on hold or suspension are slowly being released back to them. Okay, but we know what the scripture says when people start feeling safe and comfortable. Okay, what does it say? Let's get it. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. All right. Hey, once they start feeling peace and safety and thinking things are going back to normal and things are, heading in the right direction, then sudden destruction is going to come, because at the end of the day, you have 200 employees here that are walking out and losing their jobs, and they're protesting and they're upset about it. What do you think is going to be the outcome when it becomes, Esau Edom deals with gradualism, so he does a little at a time, because the first person to get fired for not taking a vaccine by her company was a woman in New York who was pregnant, and she didn't want to take the vaccine because her and her husband were trying to have a baby, and she was concerned about side effects and things of that nature, and her job let her go. Okay, and that set the precedent. Okay, Esau Edom deals with gradualism. Okay, it's gonna go to the nurses, then the staff at the airports, and then so forth and so on. Okay, and we've been saying this from the get-go, that that this jab is going to be made mandatory and everyone's going to have to take it. Okay, they just started doing tests on 6 months to 5 year olds. Okay, they're doing trials, study trials. So it is what it is. All right. So continuing on, it says employees can request to be exempt from the vaccination for medical reasons, including pregnancy and sincerely held religious beliefs. The hospital has said any approved exemption would only be valid for the year it was approved. By the end of May, 99% of the hospital staff had met the vaccination requirement. The hospital's president and CEO, Mark Boom, said in a statement to HuffPost last month. The hospital on Monday shared its disappointment with those who refused to comply with the mandate, but said they make up only a small number. Oh man, the disappointment with those who refuse to comply. Okay? It says it is unfortunate that today's milestone of Houston Methodist becoming the safest hospital system in the country is being overshadowed by a few disgruntled employees, Boom said in a statement to KHOU. Okay, so you see the way, you see the verbiage that they're using, you see the way they're talking about, these, 200 staff members who, for whatever reason, choose not to take the jab. Okay, he's talking about them like they're the enemy. Okay, people, don't have the right to put whatever in their body that they want without severe consequences. The consequence of losing your job, or not being able to live to experience the freedoms that you've had before all this happened. All right, so it says the hospital has argued that healthcare institutions are legally allowed to mandate vaccinations among its workers. It also insists that the vaccines currently available in the U.S. have been proven to be safe. All these vaccines are under emergency authorized use. None of them have been approved yet. Pfizer and I believe Moderna have filed to try to get approval. So we'll see how that goes. Because a lot of people feel unsafe about them. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people, a lot of the staff, once you go into this story, were hesitant on taking the jab because, they were saying that they're only authorized for emergency use and not approved. Okay, so it says skeptical workers hit back in a lawsuit filed against the hospital last month, accusing the hospital of forcing them to become human guinea pigs as a condition for continued employment. The lawsuit appeared to largely take issue with the vaccines having been approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for emergency use. It incorrectly claims that this meant that the vaccines were experimental and therefore potentially unsafe. Vaccines that have received emergency use authorization, and like I said, all of these vaccines have received emergency use authorizations, but none of them are approved. So some of the staff members that brought that point up, that is, true for now. It says vaccines that have received emergency use authorization have completed clinical trials that demonstrate the vaccine's safety and efficiency. Which in order for it to get emergency authorization, it does have to go through certain trials. But that still doesn't mean that it's approved. It says because they have undergone such clinical research and authorization, they are not considered experimental. Pfizer started its application for full FDA approval on its coronavirus vaccine last month. So there you have it. And this right here, this next portion is going to get into what the gentleman mentioned in the little snippet clip that I played when he was talking about the Equal Employment Opportunity Commissions, okay, the EEOC, okay. So before we get that, let's just bring out another precept. Zakar'Yah. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Okay? And in these times, we have to be sober, okay? And vigilant, man. Vigilant in what? Vigilant in staying in these scriptures, watching, keeping up with these prophecies, praying, fasting, doing the things that are pleasing to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Because he is he is our Lord and Savior. He's the only one who can get us through Jacob's trouble, the beginning of sorrows, and the things to come. Okay, so definitely, man, this is why the Lord tells us to be vigilant. Okay, and and watch and pay attention. Okay. And if you think about it, if these employees of this hospital were vigilant and paying attention and knew what was going on, they would have been they would have already made other arrangements. Okay, instead of getting together and coming up with this useless lawsuit. Okay, all right, so. Let's go back to this real quick. It says, where were we? It says the Equal Employment Opportunity Commissions, the EEOC, a federal agency established to administer and enforce laws against workplace discrimination, issued update guidance late last month that defends employers' legal right to require COVID-19 vaccines among employees in a physical workplace. This requirement is legal as employers provide reasonable accommodations. Those who do not get vaccinated because of a disability or a religious belief, practice, or observation may be entitled to an exception to a workplace vaccine requirement in exchange for wearing a mask, social distancing, changing schedules, or reassignment, the EEOC website states. All right, so that's pretty much it. All right, so that's pretty much what we wanted to go. I wanted to go into, but like we said, man, Zakar'Yah, we coming into into some times where people are about to get uncomfortable. All right, and people that are in this truth and that talk a good game, it's going to be put to the test. Okay, it's going to be put to the test because at the end of the day, man, the same things that you're going to be losing if you don't take this jab is the same things in this world that you're going to be losing if you don't take that MOB. Okay, that Revelation 13 and 16. All right, so at the end of the day, this is why the Lord Yahweh Yahweh Shai says, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. All right, okay, this if any of these people had, this wisdom and knowledge, they would have been prepared for this. All right. Okay. You can't get caught slipping. You can't be surprised by by something. Okay. Because all this information has been out for months. Okay. All this information, all this information about the EEOC, okay, the Equal Employment Opportunity, uh, and all the signs have been here. Okay, this jab is going to be made mandatory for everyone, and there's nothing you can do about it. All right, you're either gonna take it and have the freedoms and comforts of this world, or not take it and be an outcast. At the end of the day, that's what it is. So I'm going to bring out one more precept, and we're going to call it quits. All right. So this is Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown." Okay, so hey, don't let no man take thy crown, man. Hey, the Lord, Yahweh Shai, our salvation is even nearer than we believe. All right, so Lord's willing, this was edifying. Shalom, wa abad, babal.